Hi everyone, thank you for joining us for today's Healthy Lifestyles workshop. My name is Alex Rodriguez and I'm from Association House of Chicago, part of our Healthy Lifestyles program. We are located in Humboldt Park and we provide many services for our community members such as child welfare, behavioral health, financial careers training, HIV testing, and health and wellness education, which is where my program comes in. We've done different series of workshops in the past where we've done Zoom cook-alongs, we've done education on different food groups and how to eat more healthy. Today's topic, we will be going over how we can be more physically active, and then I will go over how to prepare meal prep recipes. They are simple recipes. It's mostly dedicated to using stuff that we have on hand, and I will be providing those recipes and email them if you are interested. If there are any questions, feel free to email me, or also I will be providing our contact info at the end, but we're gonna get started, okay? So in the past, we've talked about, building healthy habits, but this one I wanna go over how we can build healthy habits for being physically active, right? So how to be more physically active. I did grab 10 tips. I grabbed them from our choosemyplate.gov, and they are a resource where they are able to provide a lot of different information towards families, mostly dedicated towards kids, and like having them learn about the different foods that they should be eating, and also for adults too. It's not just for kids, also for older adults that we have in our own families as well. But I want to also just make sure that I emphasize that these are just tips. They're just recommendations. Don't feel like you have to follow through every step, or that you have to do exactly what I have in this presentation. It's not a one size fits all. It's pretty much, see what works for you. Maybe all you need help is just getting started, or maybe there are certain things that you want to build on. This is kind of like a nice, just a beginner's guide to how to start. But again, if you do have any concerns before you start exercising or just being physically active, definitely talk to your doctor beforehand and just making sure that you develop a plan that's fit for you. Okay. And why is it important to be physically active? Why does it even matter? I know during this time during the summer, we tend to talk a lot about beach bodies or bikini bodies or being slim and fit, or just our summer bodies. But we tend to mostly just grab that physical part and we only focus on like the outside. But in reality, like being physically active and exercising has a lot to do with like taking care of like what's inside, our own health. Obviously, it's more than just being fit. It's for our own health. It helps a lot with our heart. It helps a lot with like lowering our blood cholesterol levels, our blood pressure. Also lowers the risk for type 2 diabetes and some cancers. If you are someone that does have like a condition, or you're concerned about, maybe you have like a certain health condition that might be at risk, honestly, you want to talk to your doctor. And honestly, you want to exercise that is very comfortable for you. Don't feel like you have to overstrain yourself, or that you need to push yourself when you should really be taking a break. Obviously, again, talk to your doctor if you have any concerns. Another reason, obviously, is having stronger bones and muscles and joints, and it helps lower the risk of developing osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is pretty much having brittle bones. It's also pretty much like, making sure that our bones are strong when we age, when we get older. Obviously we don't want our bones to, become very, you know, um, brittle, or you want to make sure that they're strong, but you just want to make sure, you're doing exercises to help build onto those. Okay. And then honestly, it makes us feel better too, with more energy. We have a better mood after we exercise. We tend to feel more relaxed, especially if we do have like a very heavy or just a long period of exercising. We tend to feel more tired at the end, and that will help us relax and sleep better. But these are just only like 3 reasons why exercising is beneficial for us. There are tons of different reasons why, there aside from these. So you're more than welcome to obviously, learn and explore, especially if there's something, for your own health that you want to help. Most likely, exercising can help with that too. But obviously, doing research This is just a handful of things that, you're able to find, the general. But, I want to go over like certain starting points of how we can start. And, we're going to go into number one. Tip number one is obviously start small and slowly build up, right? We want to begin by introducing one new activity and add on more when you feel ready. Build up slowly, so this could also prevent injury. If I'm someone who doesn't exercise, I'm not going to start tomorrow and tell myself I'm going to run a 5K. Like, no, like you want to start off small, see what's doable. Maybe for me, tomorrow I'm going to start just walking 10 minutes. But then on Saturday, I'll walk for 20 minutes. And then the next day, 30, and so on and so forth. You want to start off small, see what's actually doable for you. Don't give yourself a big goal, right away until you feel ready that you're able to accomplish that. Obviously, you want to be properly equipped with proper clothes, shoes, or even weather conditions. Also, too, right now, especially during our current situation with COVID-19, you want to make sure if you are exercising, you wear a mask when you can. Typically, from the CDC and HWO, they recommend not wearing a mask when you're exercising. But if you feel comfortable or you feel like you're able to do it, then yes, definitely do it if you can. If you're not going to wear a mask, obviously keep your distance at 6 feet. You still want to maintain that social distance if you are going to be in public spaces. Okay. Some small steps that can look like, for you to start, it's like going on a walk, playing catch, riding a bike, walking up the stairs, or even gardening too, being outside. That could be something that could break a sweat. And then going on from that, tip number 2, you want to make sure you're making active choices throughout the day. Every little bit of activity can add up, and doing something is better than nothing. If maybe going up the stairs as opposed to the elevator, when you get up the stairs, you feel like you're breaking a sweat. That could be one way. Maybe if you're driving to work, you could park a little bit further so you could walk a little bit more towards your building. Obviously, keep in mind your safety too. Don't feel like you should do something when you don't feel safe. Always keep your own safety at hand. And obviously, with weather permitting, if you're able to take a 10-minute break, you could go outside and walk for a little bit up and down the block. If you can't do that, maybe you can walk around the building. You could maybe, again, take the stairs for a little bit, or just go through explore your building. Maybe go through different hallways that you haven't been to, And obviously, one more thing too, is like you want to make sure your blood is flowing, which is like one of the main things. So you want to make sure that you at least stand for 1 hour for 1 to 2 minutes and every hour, just to get your blood flowing. Now, don't say for an hour, but if you are someone that is sitting down for 8 hours straight, at least get up once every hour just to kind of get the blood flowing. If you kind of think about it, if you're someone who's at a desk all the time, you might be just sitting the whole time with your neck down, typing away, and you feel like your neck might be bended. So being able to stand helps replenish the blood and helps get it flowing. Okay. Tip number 3, obviously when you get home, maybe you can include work around the house. I don't know about you, but sometimes, when I do a deep clean in my apartment, I tend to break a sweat. You feel like you're tired, or, maybe you are sweating, or, your muscles are aching. That means, you're obviously working hard to making sure your spot's clean. That could be one way. Vacuuming, sweeping, planting, or even taking out the trash. That is a hefty weight. You can even have your own kids involved too. So not only that, you're able to do chores around the house, that could break a sweat. You'll be able to live in a very clean environment too, and that'll make you feel better. So a clean space will make us feel better too. Okay. Tip number 4, so set a specific activity time. Maybe determining time slots throughout the week when the whole family, friends, or even just yourself is available. I know right now during COVID, we're trying to keep our social distance, which we should still maintain. So maybe getting someone from the house that you live in or the place that you live in, having them work out with you, that could be a nice activity with the both of you. You want to devote a few times to physical activity, at least 10 minutes a day. If you're someone who really cannot work out throughout the week, maybe try for the weekend. just a little bit like in the Saturday morning, going for a walk, or again, doing those house chores to kind of break a sweat. That could be another way too. I always kind of like to emphasize how throughout the day, we actually have about 14,000 minutes in a day. Obviously, most of it we spend it like sleeping and working, but if we can at least spend 10 minutes out of those 14,000 minutes or 1,400, sorry, 1,400 minutes to at least, work out, perfectly fine. 10 minutes is all we need. Okay. Number 5, so we want to use what is available. We obviously want to plan our activities that require little or no equipment or facilities. Obviously, being physically active, people tend to always think, oh, you need to have a gym membership, which could be kind of pricey. Not all the time though. You could obviously, either work out outside at a park. Obviously, if it's open, I know right now during COVID-19, some facilities are closed and some parks are closed too. So keep in mind, current situations, but you don't always need a gym to work out. Maybe even your own house, your own backyard. Maybe just having something simple like your phone to put up in a YouTube video and like work out, or put on like a dancing video too. There's always free options for us to help us work out and be physically active. It's just pretty much finding them. And then also certain programs too also provide free or minimal charged programs or like workshops to work out. So there's always those. It just takes a little time to kind of research which ones are available in our neighborhood, and you could go from there. So kind of like how I talked about like at the beginning about why it is that we need to be physically active. So tip number 6, you kind of want to keep your heart pumping. For cardio, which is pretty much, exercises for the heart, you want to have at least 2.5 hours per week. That's about maybe half an hour to 45 minutes of moderate effort, of like physical activity. That can include walking, biking, swimming, or skating. And if anything, maybe you at least want to do them 10 minutes a day. Again, just 10 minutes a day. If that's all you can do, that's all you can do. There are also videos too that include like 5-minute videos, 5-minute like workout videos. Those are also other options. Okay, and kind of going along with the heart, you also want to, number 7, you want to be active for healthy muscles and bones. We want to make sure, when we're aging, we want to have those healthy bones just to keep us stable. We want to do strengthening activities like throughout the week for at least 2 times. That can include like lifting weights, doing push-ups, sit-ups, working with resistant bands. Maybe if we're at our desk, we can have a band and just kind of stretch it out when we can. We can also do heavy gardening. Again, taking out that trash every once in a while, which we should be doing every other day. Or strength training, just in general. But again, determine like what weight's appropriate for you so you don't injure yourself. And again, it's very beneficial in the long run as we get older. Number 8, so we obviously want to set goals and track our progress. So we want to plan our physical activities ahead of time and keep records. It's a great way to meet our goals. So maybe we have, fitness apps. There's also trackers on our phone that we can log in. If we don't want to use our phone, we could actually, find a piece of paper, notebook paper. There's also different logs that you can find online that provide the same idea of like tracking your workouts. And then the good thing with that too is that when we track our progress, we're able to see how much we're building on, and it can motivate us to keep going. Once it's complete, we check it off, and it just like pushes us to go even further and like make new goals. So it's always like a nice way to kind of keep track of our progress when it comes to physical activities. And then aside from that, speaking of phones, number 9, we also do want to like limit our screen time and our TV time. Pretty much anything with the screen, our phones, our tablets, TVs, video games. We want to make sure we're minimizing that to at least 2 hours a day, which I know is very hard. But if we can at least, maybe within those 2 hours, at least dedicate 10 minutes just again to go for a walk, maybe just get up and stretch, or just pretty much like do a house chore, we're on a good way to start like being physically active. Just 10 minutes that we need. And we want to maintain our screen time again, because when we're looking down on our phones, similar to our computers, we tend to just have our neck down and we're straining our muscles. So again, you just want to be mindful of how much you're spending time on your screens. And then again, weather permitting, if you can, you could go outside. Thankfully, right now, since it is summer, we want to take advantage and just keep going and being able to push ourselves to be physically active outside. At least just to enjoy the day too. And then number 10, the main one, is obviously we want to have fun. We don't want to like exercise and just feel like it's just a chore. We don't want to dread it. It shouldn't be something that we dread. Physical activity shouldn't be a chore. It can help us feel better, again, at the way that we feel about ourselves, our mental health, obviously our physical health. Try to see what works for you. See what physical activity or exercise is something that you enjoy. Maybe it's dancing, swimming, walking, running. It's not a one size fits all. It could be any way that you want it to be. But obviously the whole point is just to get us moving, right? Any way that we can. Don't feel like you have to be a gym expert or, like a weightlifter to start exercising. Anybody can start, and that's the beauty of it. You can start whenever. Okay. And again, these tips, I did grab them from choosemyplate.gov. Their website, they do provide so many different resources and tip sheets too about, healthy eating for babies, kids, adults, older adults. There's also recipes on there too. And then our own website, which is associationhouse.org. And if you want to follow more information or news regarding our own department and like more of like the healthy lifestyles and future workshops, feel free to follow our Facebook account, which is Community Health and Workforce Development at AHCCHWFD, or you can email me at marodriguez@associationhouse.org. Okay. So aside from that, aside from being physically active, another important component is also making sure we're nourishing our body with food. We want to make sure we're eating healthy and getting nutrients from the 5 food groups. That includes vegetables, fruit, protein, grains, and dairy, or non-dairy options if you can't consume dairy. You mostly want to focus on the calcium. There are substitutes for that. And then one way we can also maybe make it easier for us is meal prepping, right? The whole idea of meal prepping is just that, preparing our meals throughout the week. Pretty straightforward, right? I want to show one method that we can meal prep and have meals on the go, especially if we're someone who barely has time to cook every day, or maybe we eat out a lot, because cooking does take a lot of time out of our hands and energy. I know sometimes when I come home from work, I just don't feel like cooking anything, but having different methods to be able to have food on hand can be very helpful. And the one way I'm going to actually show you is the mason jar method, which is pretty much having any jars of any size. I'm going to show you how to do different recipes in these jars. I have different sizes. I mostly grab these from my pantry. This was like pasta sauces, just regular salsa sauces or condiments. I also have like little spice jars that I tend to keep on hand. But these are super, super useful to kind of put your food in here and then just take it on the go. So I'm going to show you a breakfast recipe and then also 2 to 3 different lunch or dinner recipes too. Okay, so we're first actually going to start with our breakfast recipe. And I'm actually going to help share it first. You ever heard of this one? It's called, actually not yet. We're going to be doing overnight oats. Here we go. Okay. Overnight oats with chia seeds. So all we need is pretty much 2 cups of rolled oats, 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, and 2.5 cups of choice of milk. The chia seeds are optional, so if anything, you just want to make sure there's a ratio of 2 cups of oats to 2.5 cups of milk. And optional, you chop fruit. You can also have nuts and seeds, choice of sweetener. But pretty much we're gonna combine them together. Okay. So I'm actually gonna keep this one here. I actually have 2 more. So I have my oats that we're gonna use. I do have my milk. And then my chia seeds. So really simple. It's pretty much just combining all of these. So I'm actually gonna do half of the recipe. So I'm gonna do 1 cup of oats, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, and 1.5 cup of milk. So I have my oats. I'm gonna put in my chia seeds. And then I'm gonna put in my milk. It might seem like a lot of milk at first, but it's gonna combine. Okay. So once this is all set, that's it. All you have to do is just pretty much put the top on and put it in your fridge for about 4 hours or overnight for best results. Luckily, I actually have one that was already made. So again, the whole purpose is pretty much preparing a big batch of something and then putting it in these jars to have them ready and set to go. Okay, so since this one was already nice, that's pretty much how it looks like. With my jars, I'm just gonna prepare them and put them in here. Again, you should probably have like any sauce jars on hand. I know I always have them just stored away, and it's a good way to recycle some jars too, and you don't have to throw them away. Put in here a couple scoops, however much you want to. Keep a little space, so then that way we can add stuff in here. So once we have that, you could either just obviously put your tops on, and then these are just ready to be stored. And one way you could pretty much just have them ready to go. Maybe you're in a rush, you could pretty much grab one. You have a banana, just take this and you're done. So that's like 1. Or if you have time in the morning when you wake up, if you have fresh cut strawberries, put them up in here, drizzle them in, kind of prepare it. These are like little snack jars too. Have that, and then I have some nuts and seeds. So another way is I could just put this on top, and then that's good to go. Typically, I would say put your toppings the day of, so then that way overnight it doesn't get soggy or doesn't soak through. But obviously, play around with it, see what you like. It's not just one way and that's it. There's so many different ways. You can use different fruit, obviously. You could pack this away and just take this and prepare it at work. But that's just pretty much one way of preparing overnight oats and having them ready on hand. Okay. Again, these you can find them anywhere. Maybe again, take a look at your pantry, your fridge, see what's made out of glass or any container too. It could just also be like plastic. The whole purpose is that you just want to make sure you're being resourceful and you reuse it. Okay. That's one way. There's actually 2 ways. One way, just obviously having this on the go, or having time in the morning and just preparing your snack jars already, your breakfast jars. Okay, so that's one way. That's one breakfast method. Another way, we're actually gonna put these away just so we can kind of see. I want to show how we can prepare lunch and dinner with those jars too. So just for the sake of time, I actually had some food already prepared. I just prepared 1 cup of rice. I prepared chicken. The whole, again, point is just to pretty much have things prepared already, or just have a big batch of something and then just build on easily. We have our vegetables. Main important thing is that we want to have vegetables. This is just different types of greens, reds, yellows. You want to have really colorful vegetables included in your jars. Really good for the heart. I have 2 different types of proteins. Obviously, I have my beans, chicken. Obviously, my nuts and seeds too are also protein. And then I have different greens. And then one more of like a different type of grain, which I won't put here. And then I actually also saved a spice jar. And then I put my own dressing in here too. All right, so we're actually gonna start off with a really simple salad recipe. And we need another jar, obviously. So what we're gonna do, since my hands are clean, I'm gonna actually put these in here. Just pack it in here. Maybe you can push down, space. Use any greens that you have. I usually have like a salad mix. And then once I have that, I'm gonna actually pretty much put nuts and seeds, since those are things I like to have in my salad. And then I'm gonna include, actually I'm gonna put some of the leftover strawberries that I had for my overnight oats. Now one more thing too, I'm gonna add my chicken. That should be good. And there you go, I have my little salad jar. You can see I have my nuts and seeds, my greens, my fruit, and then my protein. And then with this little spice jar that I saved to put my dressing, I could have this together. So I could have this already prepped and just take it in the morning, and that will be my lunch. So here's another way. Maybe you want to do a green bowl. I'll actually do one for now. Another jar that I have. So maybe you want to have maybe like a taco jar, right? You could put in your rice in here. You put however you want. And then you can put some beans in here. The most important part, put your vegetables. Red peppers, corn, broccoli. And then you could put chicken in here too. Now obviously the nice thing is that since this is glass, it'll be safe to use in the fridge. I'm sorry, in the microwave. One more thing we can add. You can add cheese. And if I use this in the microwave, I'll be able to melt and it'll pretty much coat everything. You could obviously add your vegetables on top too, like more greens. I would say though, if you're gonna eat this for lunch, I would actually pack the greens separate so it doesn't get wilty or doesn't get soggy. But since I'm gonna eat this right now, I'm gonna put them in. And then obviously have to get my top. Here's a little taco jar. Again, we have our rice, our beans, vegetables, protein, and then more greens too. Here's another way. And then our final way, which I actually am very excited about this one, we could also do noodles. So I actually have one of those instant ramen noodles. I know typically these do have a lot of salt, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna open it up. I already have it a little cracked. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, we're gonna add in our toppings first. So I'm gonna actually put in some chicken in there. I'm gonna add some vegetables. And then once I have that, I'm gonna add some cabbage. And then once I have that, then I can add my noodles. Typically, all these noodles tend to come with a little packet of flavor. We're not gonna use this, okay? This is actually what gives it all the sodium, so we're not gonna use this packet. We're gonna pretty much put this in here. Maybe if we can, try to break it up a little bit more. Okay, if it flies all over. I do recommend maybe using a bigger pasta sauce jar so there's more space to fit stuff in here. There we go. You don't have to use the whole packet. See, maybe I won't use this part. So once I have that, so I have my noodles, I have my vegetables, my protein, and one more thing that we might add. Once I'm gonna have my lunch, if I have access to it, and typically if I'm gonna use this, I know I have access to hot water, we're gonna add our hot water, okay? So pretty much you add hot water to this and then you're good to go. And that's it. So the whole point of the mason jar method is just to pretty much have things on the go. Here's one way, so I have, maybe this could be my lunch, this could be my dinner, my little taco jar, my salad. Maybe I can actually eat these two together. And then obviously, my breakfast. So I already have this like all set for like the whole week, right? And I have a lot of leftovers still from the dishes I prepared. I want to say that maybe it took 1 to 2 hours depending, but you know, you're obviously able to make whatever you have on hand if you just want to use certain items. But you can see I already have my whole meals for tomorrow, right? I have my breakfast. Actually, I have breakfast for 2 days already. I have my breakfast, now I have my lunch, or maybe like an afternoon snack, and then I have my dinner, right? So this is really, really, really easy to prepare. You can see it just took really easy to build, but you obviously are more than welcome to explore, see what items that you like, certain vegetables. There are so many different ideas online, but yeah, play around, see what you like, okay? So these are very exciting. And that's pretty much it, right? Don't feel like you have to go out and buy jars if you don't have them. Do not do that. If anything, maybe you could just use your Tupperware that you already have, or even maybe if you have dishes at work, you could store things in like bags and then like Ziploc bags, and then just toss everything out into the plate that you have, and you're able to heat that up. right? But don't feel like you need to have this. I just only showed the mason jar method just to show you how easy it is to have your meals already prepared, okay? Now, that's pretty much it for this presentation. If you do have any questions, feel free to email me. If you have any concerns, I do respond to emails. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, again, please reach out. And please stay safe during these times, and hopefully I'll be able to see everybody soon for another workshop. Thank you, everyone.